I just want to create something for you.
Illustrations by me.
So, I struggled with the podcast thing. Nobody likes it. Every time I put up a podcast, start out great. The first one, everyone was watching. The second one was worse. The third one was worse. The fourth one was even worse. I tried to do a premiere and watch it with you. Only a couple of you showed up, and most of you did not stay around. So, Barbara, thank you for participating. You were talking to me, and I was talking back, and that was fine. But most people do not want to see the subject, and so they just don't watch it. It's just, I put up the video, I lose subscribers every time I put up a podcast. I still have ideas for a podcast. It's just that the conspiracy thing, people do not like it. So I'm going to steer away from that for sure. And I'll just do something maybe a little different and just do like regular vlog type stuff and just label it as a podcast, because I'm not actually drawing anything. So you can just listen to it, and that's the point of a podcast. You can just listen to it. You don't have to watch me, and that's fine. But today, all I want to do is draw for you. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get some ink. I don't know what else I'm going to put in there. I may put in some water-soluble pencil. I may put in there some watercolor or some marker. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I just want to draw for you. Is that okay? So that's what I'm doing. You can't talk me out of it. We're just going to have a nice, relaxing session here. All right, let's get into it. So I apologize if my voice sounds a little weird. I just recovering from, I had the big C, that thing that nobody's supposed to talk about. I had that. Everything was okay. Nothing was a big deal. I just got a little stuffed up, a little congested, had a little bit of a sore throat. Still have a little bit of a sore throat, but I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I was a little tired. That's just to be expected. Let's get on with this. So you can see that I soaked this page. I used a regular brush, and I just soaked the living crap out of it. And I wanted to maybe just give it a nice little background. Here's the thing. It's almost like a challenge video. I may label it that in the title, but it's not really supposed to be a challenge video. Listen, I saw something really cool. It was a really cool piece that someone did, and I thought it looked okay, but I had to put my own spin on it. So I thought, why don't I do like a 2-color challenge for myself? Not that I'm into challenges, you know that. I'm not into it. But sometimes I just like to keep it simple and just do the little 2-color thing. And usually I use like a Payne's blue gray, and then I use like a sepia and use like so it's like a very, very dark grayish blue or bluish gray, however that works. And then a very, very deep brown to get that warmer color in there. But this time I used the Mayan dark blue and the Perylene violet. I had 2 of my favorite colors. I like to use them, so those are the colors I used. And I just put down a nice wash in the background, and then I went back in, and then I used the big brush to put the wash in. If you noticed, it actually came out a little bit more interesting. If I had other colors in there and other tones in there, it would probably come out a little bit nicer, and I would enjoy that a little bit more. But it was okay. There was no problem with it. What I actually wish I would have done is maybe do some warm colors in the background and then some cooler colors on the top, or vice versa. Do some of the cool colors in the background like I did, and then put the warmer colors on top. Sometimes I like to blend that kind of thing, but this was only 2 colors, so I stuck with that. Then I started to put in some shapes, and then you see the magic start to unfold, because after the shapes happen, just let me put in all the shapes first. You just watch all the way through that. I put in all the shapes, and then I start to put the ink in and connect all the shapes together. And kind of some of them are a part of the same shape, some of them are different shapes. And then I went ahead and put little extras in them and little details in them later that maybe I didn't see right away. And as I actually did, this is probably one of the most relaxing and quickest things I've ever done. The longest time was putting in that wash and then waiting for it to dry. After it dried, it was no problem. I was able to put everything else in very quickly. It was a very quick thing. So if you didn't put a background in, it'd be a lot quicker for you. You wouldn't have a problem with that. It'd be just a few minutes. This the whole thing took maybe 20 minutes to a half hour, I think. And that's with the dry time. So this is a quick one. I'm sure this is not sped up very much from what I'm talking. That's not a sentence. That's not English. I'm a little bit foggy still. So what I mean is, it's not sped up very quickly while I'm talking. That's what I was supposed to say. But you knew that. I didn't have to explain that. Now, I also did use a small fan to help that background dry a little bit quicker. It wasn't very powerful, but it is a little one, and it just helps speed things along. So that's included in that 20-30 minutes. So just so you know, if you do the wash and then you just wait for it to dry regular, it's going to take some time. Don't worry about that. But this is just something to give you a quick little idea to do something a little quick. It's more just like a regular doodle. That's all it is. It's nothing big. It's not a main piece or anything like that. It's not like, oh, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It's just something to do to have a little fun, get a little watercolor out there, get a little ink out there, and go crazy. And you can tell how loose I made this. I mean, I'm using the large brush to put the wash in. I'm using the water brush just fine, just like I always do. And then I use a brush pen with ink in it, so there's no real precise precision lines going in here. It's just me having fun, getting a little loose with it, and just doing something that I thought looked a little cool, and I wanted to see if I could replicate it, put my own little spin on it, and that's exactly what I did. Everyone's going to have a different opinion about it, just like people have different opinions about a lot of other things. Let me give you an example. I know a lot of landscapers, and I know they love to be landscapers, and they say things like, they're like, oh, I love to be outside, and I have a feeling of freedom that it brings. And let me tell you, on the other hand, I hate being outside in the sweltering sun. The summertime, it's one of the least favorite things I like to do. So when other people are saying, oh, I wish I was at the beach, I think you're crazy. That's what I think. There are no trees and there's no shade at the beach. So now I like to be at the beach, but I like to be at the beach like at dusk or something. When the sun's going down, a nice cool breeze off the ocean, it's nice out. But when you're just sitting there and the heat is blasting down on your skin and just sweltering outside, that is never fun for me. And people are like, oh no, you could put up a little umbrella, but you just bake in your own sweat. It's not fun for me. So when people are like, oh, I want to go to the beach, it's a nice hot day out. Like, no, I'll wait for the 80-degree weather. That's fine. Or 70-degree weather. That's even better. My perfect temperature is like 65 to 75, right in there. Anything outside of that, I'm uncomfortable on both sides. And I like to be comfortable. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I like to work indoors, especially in the summer months or in the winter months. And then, in the nicer weather, yeah, I'll be outside, no problem. No problem working outside during that part of the year. But when it's hot out, don't expect me to go outside. I'm not going to be out there. Don't say, oh, you want to go? Now, here's a big one. I used to like to go to the lake to go relax. Oh, yeah, let's go to the lake. Okay, let's go to the lake. And then everybody sits out in the middle of the field where there's no trees. I like to go all the way to the edge where the trees are, get a little table out there, and sit under the trees where everything is nice and cool. Not in the direct sunlight. I don't like being outside at noon or over here. It's actually the hottest part of the day is probably like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon or at evening or pre-evening or whatever that time zone is. But anyway, I'm just saying there are certain things that I like, and everybody feels a little bit different about those types of things. So when you see art, sometimes you say, this art is not for me. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you there's something wrong with you if you don't like it. Don't let anybody tell you that you're missing out on anything if you don't like a certain type of thing. If you say, no, I don't really like that kind of art, and people are like, oh, it's a shame, you're really missing out. You're not really missing out. If you were missing out, it would be something you enjoyed that you missed. That's really missing out. But if it's something that you already don't like, you're not missing out. And just the same, if you're one of those people that like that thing that other people don't like, don't pay any attention to them. Don't worry about them. Let them go about their life. You focus on what you enjoy and what you like to do. And that's what you focus on. That's just how it is. People have opinions. Not everybody's going to be the same. Thank goodness. It would be very boring if everyone was. And just allow people to do what they're going to do. Let people live their way. You live your way. There's no problem there. Nobody has to not like each other because of what kind of art you like and you don't like. And don't worry about all that stuff. People get way too uptight about it. And I just worked beach weather and landscaping into an art talk because that's how I roll. So I could be a little delirious. I might be. So that was the video. If you're going to try something simple, easy to do, that you like to do, maybe some other people don't like to do it, but you're going to do it because you like to do it, or maybe it's very complex. It doesn't have to be simple. Sometimes very complex things are very likable too, and that's what people like, and that's fine. And I don't have any problem with that. So I hope you enjoyed just spending some time together. If you would like to join our community, go to illustrationsbypete.com. You can come in, you can put your own artwork on the site and promote it. You can find some inspiration in the free reference photos. You can just use them however you want in your artwork. You do not need to credit me. Or you can come into the forums and talk to some people and maybe give some advice and maybe find a little bit of information that helps you. So come check us out. All right, that's about it for me. I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next one.